Okay, so continuing from last week's presentation, we had the 12 and 22 setups, and today I said that we were going to go into the third setup formation, which is the 21 setup. Okay, so this is a continuation from last week for the peak formations, and that will do it for our peak formation series and conclude that setup week. So what is the 21 setup and where to find it? Okay, so similarly like the 12 and the 22, these setups are aptly named because of the second leg of the larger structure has only one leg. Okay, usually it's a half a bat pattern, and they're usually found in level 3 peak formations, or they're found in resets. Okay, so the first leg is an inducement with a trap whereby the market makers will bring the price back to the first leg, luring traders into the wrong direction and pulling away with the reversal. Okay, the 21 setup will have an M or a W outside structure as the first leg. Okay, and then the second leg will be an A top or V bottom spike. Okay, and ideally the entry will be a half bat pattern. Okay, and we will follow the rules for a half bat type 1 or type 2 on this setup. Okay, so here are the setup rules. We need a peak formation, okay, or a reset structure, okay, or a large outside structure formed with trapping candles, railroad tracks, pin bar, star pattern, okay, something like that. And the first leg is usually formed in the prior day, okay, and you're looking for the second leg to form on the high or low of the current day that you're looking at the setup. Okay, price will come back to challenge the high of the day or the low of the day. Usually it will fail to break it. Sometimes it will trap through it, or it'll come, just before it, and not take it out. Okay, and then it'll form that second leg, and then you'll be looking for your entry setup after that. The A top or the V bottom spike will create the second leg of this larger structure, and then usually it gives us the half a Batman pattern. Okay, and it's not always the case, but ideally you want to see a half bat pattern to give you that confirmation, that strong entry confirmation for the setup. Half bat type 1 or 2 entries apply, and then with the TDI confirmation. So if you guys aren't familiar with the half bat patterns, I suggest you go back and look through the half Batman video. Okay, so make sure you're familiar yourself with the rules. And then you'll be familiar with how to take the entry for the 21 setup. Alright, so we're going to look at some chart examples here. We're going to show exactly what it is I'm talking about. Okay, so let's look at here. We have USD CAD. Okay, this is a 21 setup long. So you're going to look over here and notice that there's a large outside structure here. Okay, formed on the prior day, and it's a big W, right? Then we have the Asian consolidation. Okay, so the next day, notice the blue tracer low here, as the low is created down here. All right, price will come back to challenge that low of the day. In this case, they didn't go all the way back down here to the blue tracer, but they only came down to the bottom of the Asia low. Okay, so sometimes they don't get all the way down there, but they do come back and they challenge that low. Okay, and then they'll sharply move up and away, and you'll see that V spike or A spike the other way around. Okay, then you'll get a half bat entry. Okay, you can see the shift candle here shifts above the apex, which is created right here of the structure. All right, the distance from this leg to this leg is obviously more than 10 pips. Okay, that's another one of our rules for the half bat. And then this shift candle that shifts above the apex is going to be your entry. All right, now this candle is also getting the TDI confirmation here with the signal line RSI above the signal line above the market baseline. Okay, so if you took that entry up to this point would be 30 pips. If you held it into the rest of the day, okay, you get about 90 pips holding up here. And actually this continues even higher. You can see this was our reset pivot point. All right, so let's look at another setup here. We can give another example. This is a pair that we don't usually look at, but this gave a very nice example, so I'm just going to include it here. GBP NZD. All right, this is another 21 setup long. Okay, again, right here you can see a very nice outside structure created in the prior day. All right, creates the low, which gives us the blue tracer here for the next day. Okay, and then you can see price comes back to challenge that low, right? Doesn't take it out, comes right near it, and then aggressively moves away, gives you that V spike. All right, then you get a pullback, right? This is actually a type 2 half a bat. You can see here where it traps below the 50, okay, and then comes back over. And then this shift candle isn't our entry. Why is that not our entry? Because this is the apex of the half bat structure, okay, and right here, okay, this is where it shifts above. This candle actually is technically above, okay, but the TDI, the EMAs are still in your way right here. So you want to wait for it to kind of clear the EMAs before you take that entry. Okay, it's a little bit safer entry. You could definitely take this entry here, and your stop loss would be smaller. All right, but this would be a safer entry once it clears the EMAs. Okay, and you get the TDI confirmation above the signal line, above the market baseline. Okay, and then this trade here, TDI confirmation, this trade here would net you 130 pips, okay, from that entry right there. So this earlier entry would give you more pips, and obviously if you could took it an even earlier entry somewhere down here, a little bit more riskier, aggressive entry, you can even catch way more than that. All right, so very nice trade here, 21 setup long. Okay, so let's look at some short examples now. All right, this is Euro Aussie dollar. Okay, this is a 21 setup short. And then for short setups, we're just going to look at the flips side, okay, just basically a mirror image. So let's look at over here. We have an outside structure created, okay, formed on the prior day. You can see this nice M here right off the 200, okay. Comes back down to end the session, and then in Asia gives you actually another M formation right here on the 200, okay. Going into the next day, you can see the price comes back here to challenge the high. It actually challenges the EMA, doesn't really come back up to the high. The high is way up here, right? But like as I said, it doesn't have to always come back to exactly the blue tracer. Sometimes it'll come up to the EMA, sometimes it'll come up to the top of the Asian box, but you want that price to come back and challenge it and then move aggressively away, and you get that A spike, okay? So what happens here is you're looking for that half bat entry. Right, so after this rejection here, this railroad track entry does not clear this apex, right? The apex is here, this is the apex of the structure. You want a shift candle that clears the apex, which is right here. Okay, and you also want the TDI confirmation as well. Right, so there's your half bat entry. Okay, on this candle here is where you get that TDI confirmation. You can see the market baseline and the signal line. RSI is below both of them, right here. All right, so that shift candle entry shifts below the apex, gives you that TDI confirmation, and that trade there is going to net you 65 pips down here to the end of the session. Okay, one more short example that we can look at. So this is GBP Aussie dollar, right? And this is a 21 setup short. So one more time, we're going to look at this. I had to actually zoom out the chart so you can see the whole scope of everything, all right? Because this was actually a very, very large 21 setup move. Okay, so right here you can see outside structure formed prior day. It's a very big outside structure that started in Asia. Okay, that first leg hits the 800 EMA, the second leg in London, right, and it comes all the way down here, then shoots back up. Okay, the next day you can see that big pullback retracement here comes through the high that was created prior day. Okay, so this is an example where price comes back to challenge it and traps through it, right? It shoots through it, induces all of the traders long, and then the very next candle, actually two candles, right, gives you an evening star pattern, takes it all away, and look at that big move back away from that high. That's a very nice 21 setup. All right, so it comes back to challenge the high of the day, traps through, comes back down. You're looking for a half bat entry. Okay, this is a very big shift candle here below the 50 EMA, and this is the one you're looking for. Okay, the apex of the structure is right here. Okay, shifts below the apex, and that's your half bat entry. Right, this is also where the TDI confirms. Okay, market baseline and signal line are sized below both of them. Right, so there's your TDI confirmation right there. And if that entry was taken, you would have made 60 pips to the end of the session of this day. If you would have held it into the next day, 180 pips down here to the bottom potentially. All right, so very, very nice setup on this trade. Okay, and this example, what I want to show you guys is on the 1 hour chart, because sometimes the setups aren't so clean on the 15-minute chart. You can zoom out to a one hour chart and find the same setup sometimes get a cleaner entry. So this example right here I'm showing you guys is Aussie dollar. Okay, this is the H1 chart, and this is a long setup. Okay, so we're still looking for the same things. Okay, so look over here. We have an outside structure formed prior day. Okay, this is actually starting from the week previous into the next week. All right, we have this W structure here, which moves up and away from that, and then the next day, okay, we have this V spike here, but then we also have this structure here, which comes back to challenge that low. That's the one you're looking for. If you didn't take this setup here, you have another shot, okay, on the 1 hour chart when it comes back to test the low here and does not take it out, right? So when it moves aggressively away from that area, okay, when it comes back to challenge that low, moves away aggressively, you're looking for your half bat entry, okay? This is the apex of the structure. You can see that this leg, the first leg, is obviously more than 10 pips away from this second leg. We have a big shift candle here that shifts above the EMAs, okay, and shifts above the apex, all right? But we can't take this entry. Why? Because we don't have the TDI confirmation. You can see that the RSI is still in between the market baseline and the signal line. So right here on this candle is where you get that half bat entry, where the signal line and the market baseline is above, okay, or sorry, the RSI is above those two. So that candle right there on the close of that candle is where you take the entry, okay? And that trade, once you have the TDI confirmation, will net you 65 pips up here, and it actually continues upwards. So you actually can make more. This would be more of a long-term trade since you're trading on the higher time frames. All right. So let me show you one more example of an hour chart, and this time a short setup. Okay, so this is Euro dollar, Euro USD, H1 chart, 21 setup short, right? So same thing, just flipped around, looking for a outside structure formed, okay, which is right here. You can see this is the first leg of it, and here's the second leg, right? So this is the big outside structure formed previous week into the new week, okay, same like we had on the Aussie dollar, okay. It's not always going to be like that, but you can see a big structure that's formed prior day. Notice the blue tracer, okay, which is here and here, right? Price comes back down and retests, okay. You can see that it comes back to challenge that high of the day and leaves a very big wick, okay. That is a very telling sign, especially on the 1 hour chart. So you can see here it comes back to challenge this high, does not take it out, and leaves a very big wick, and then moves aggressively down. You got your A spike right here, okay. And now you're looking for your half bat entry that shifts below the apex, and you had a very convincing shift candle, very big shift candle here that shifts below this entire support structure, okay. So that should be a big sign, okay, after this rejection of that high, a big shift candle here, okay. You could take a pullback entry, or you could take it on that candle, but that right there, okay, is your half bat entry. All right, and you can see that that clearly is below the signal line, the market baseline, okay, and then you got a very nice shift down after that. So TDI confirmation, take the trade, take the entry, 125 pips down here to the bottom, and it does even continue down further, right? So it was a very, very nice trade setup. Okay, so a few examples there, long and short, and also catching it on the 1 hour trade chart is sometimes better. You can find a cleaner setup sometimes, and you can also catch more pips that way. You just have to be holding it for a longer set of time because of the higher time frame. All right, so short, quick lesson today. That's just going to wrap up our peak formation setups series. So we have the 12, 22, and now today the 21 setup. All right, so hope that was helpful, guys. If you have any questions on this, please let me know. Send me a message in the chats or send me an email. But that is going to do it for today's lesson, and we will see you next week.